It's Saturday. It's about 58 degrees out. I got everything much caught up, so now I can go on with the bike I showed in Fire in a Hole. I'm going to start and work on it. I put my plastic doors on because it rained yesterday or last night late, and I painted this ramp. It's getting in bad shape. I'll probably replace it next summer. I brought the tank out and had a can and a hose, and I put it on my big welding table with a lot of pads. I don't want to scratch that thing. I don't trust it on one of these little Harbor Freight tables, plus it needs some repair on it I'll get to. And I tipped it way up this way, so I put the hose clear down in there. I want to get every bit of gas out of it I can. And what I want to do is turn it over, and I was talking about the pad up underneath it burnt. So I have a couple pictures I got off the internet of a tank for sale. I'll be using them to, make sure I get that pad back where it was. There's two pieces under there. So let me turn it over. That's why I took every bit of gas I could get out of it, so I can turn it over and none's going to run down on it. And you can see it burnt this connector for the gas line. Well, I got one off of the carbs I bought, the used carbs. They're great, so I can just pull that one off and use it. It didn't hurt this, I don't think. I'm going to check this out really good, make sure the wires aren't hurt. And that's for the probably the gas gauge and stuff. It didn't hurt this plug or anything. It just put a lot of soot in here I can clean. But you can see where the pad is. Now I can see this. So what I can do is when I go to make my new one, I can just cut this right straight here, draw it, use this as a pattern, and flip it over for the other side. So I'll have that. And then up in here, I can kind of see where it went. So I'll take that out. I'll probably clean this around here and maybe get a marker and put a line where it was. So when I put my new pattern in, or new piece in there, I can cut it. And I got away with that good. And on the side of the tank, you can see it comes off. So I think a little polishing compound, I have polishing compound, I'll go over that. And I think I'll get that back to where it never hurt it. And inside, I'll clean it real good once I get my markings, and I'll make sure, the markings don't come off. And that'll work out great. Oh, what a job. You can see how I've lifted this pad. It has strips. If you can see this black strip, that's what was holding that pad on. But the new pad I bought that I'm going to cut, it's all self-adhesive, so it'll stick good. And I just took this Awesome from the dollar store I always talk about so much, and I started cleaning. I think up in here I'm going to have to use like a toothbrush. But look at the tank. This was the side that got all the flames. It never hurt it, even in here. And I reach up under there and I clean it and wax it. But I'm wondering, a guy, Ron, became such a good friend of mine. And I've never met him in person, but we've emailed each other and stuff. And I talk about this so much. Formula 11, that F11, you can find it on eBay. And it's not real cheap, but it is good stuff. You, like throughout the summer, you can use it on your bike. So Ron, to you, I wonder if that helped protect that, because all summer long I'd wash the bike. I try to keep it as clean as I can. I would use this instead of doing the whole wax job. It's so quick. Well, you sent me this little bottle. I'm wondering if that helped protect that. And then flames come up there for a while, because that thing was burning. It was all coming on this side. And I'm thinking that might have been it. And so much of this cleaned. Now these little marks up across here is from taking the tank off. Little wee nicks you get. You're so careful with it. I set it down, and I always put a pad down. I still maybe putting it on or something. So I'm going to go over there. These little chips with a paint pen in there. If I can't get all that black off, it ain't going to hurt. You'll never see it. But I can get most of it. I'm going to try some soft scrub on that. But I cannot, this side, it didn't really hurt it at all. It had some black stuff come out like soot. It come right off with the Awesome. But this over here, I'm looking at it and I'm like, my God, you can't even tell. And then I thought, well, I keep it, you know, I wax it once in a while, but most times I go over it with this. I'm wondering if this protected it, because it does, I think, you know, put a, well, it's a top coat. It's made by Top Coat. And it says it's a water, or, oh, okay, Master, getting old. Master Craftsman Polish and Sealer. This stuff is amazing. Oh my. He told me about it and I, you know, I just didn't want to buy it, and then he sent me this little trial bottle. Man, oh man, I tell you what, I'm thinking that did it, because it is not touched at all. And I'd always wipe it up under here too, and right here it is so, it comes so clean where I can reach. But you can see I have took a magic marker and I drew around it, so I got the general shape of it. And for a pattern, what I'll do is I'll put paper in there and draw it. I really only have to have half of it, because then I can flip it over for the other half. I'll make it out of hard poster paper. Then I'll really have a template to cut my pad out. I want to be sure I'm cutting my pad right. And down here you can see I pulled it back a little bit and I drew around it. And this I can take right here in the middle, make this and flop it over, and it'll come out perfect. But now I know what I have to cover, and that's how I'm going about it, because I want to put that pad right back. Once I get all this pad out, I'll scrub under it a little bit. For the heat shield under the gas tank, I got all my drawing equipment out, and I made, it looks like a letter T, the pattern, and I have all the sizes I need and everything for under there. And I made everything a little bigger, and I'm going to trim it down after I lay this. I'll make a paper template, lay it in there, then I'll be able to trim it where I want to. If you cut something a little short, you can simply add another piece to your template, tape it on, but this is the drawing I'm going by. And over here on the tank, I drew around the original pad, what was left of it after it burnt, and I have it all laid out. I'm ready to put the pad in, and I test fit it, and I can see as it goes down in here, right here, I'm going to have to make a relief cut. And I'll probably maybe need one here a little bit. But first, to start with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up close to this edge. Now, instead of peeling this off, it's going to stick, and re-sticking it in that, I'm going to take the top part and just remove the adhesive behind here so I can get it in and press down the way I want it. I don't want to take the whole thing off at once. And I'll pull it down below that so I can grab it underneath. And I just have the top part with that peeled off. So I'm going to carefully get my pad lined up. And with anything, I showed my nephew, anything you're doing, if you make a template, paper, cardboard, whatever, it, you know, and test fit it first, because you might run into something. Especially, I showed him that in his workroom downstairs. He got a big, large piece of linoleum. We took cardboard and actually covered that whole floor with cardboard, taped it together, everything, marked where the doorway was and all this stuff. Took it out. He had his linoleum laid out on the garage floor, and put that template on there, cut it. It fit perfect. Rolled it up real careful, put it in, worked perfect. And I said, because no matter how many measurements you make, you're going to have something a little off. And I've done that with everything I do. I make templates, and it's so much better. They come out. Now this I'll press down real good, and then I'll just lift this up, peel that backing off, and start working down in here in the middle. Now if I need a release cut, I can always just cut a slot here, here to make it fold down in there. These will go up the side. And what I'll do is I'll get a piece of paper towel, and I'll just, you know, ball it up, and I'll roll that in there to get it pushed real good. But you can see it's covered where it was so far. It's going to work great. This top part really I just work and work and work like this with a paper towel and keep just pushing it down in and pushing it. And now I want to go right down this middle. I think now I can pull this on out a little. I don't want to go the whole way yet because I don't want this back here to stick. And now I'm going to go right down in the middle because this has to go down in. And that's what I'm going to work on, just like that. It's like kind of like going down in a bowl. And I just keep pushing real hard, working that down in there. I want to try to get all the wrinkles out. It's mostly because it'll be just better, you know, it'll look like it was original. Doesn't matter, it's up under the tank, but it's going to protect it like it should, because they have that in there to keep the heat off the tank. And it's just, you know, working slow, working, and you push it, it'll go. Just work it and take it the shape of the tank. So as you can see, I have it all in and pressed it down. I only had to make 2 relief cuts right through here. So I put cuts down and I pulled this flap forward, put the side ones down first, then laid this one in and just kept rubbing and rubbing, and it all went down. It looks like it was made like that. It'll protect it just to keep the heat out. And if you look at these sides where they always seem to get chipped up, I just take a simple paint pen, went over it, looks great. So anytime you come up with a problem like this, the best thing to do is don't panic. Just walk away and just, you know, figure out. Now you have the problem of what to fix it. But when you get in that panic mode like we did, it's best to just walk away, take a break, come back, and just act like you didn't do it. Just, what is the problem? How can I fix it? What's the best remedy for it? And you'll find that you can start doing this little by little. Now I have the main wiring harness to put in, and as I go, I'll make sure everything around it's all right, and that's it. But now I make the back pad, and I want to cover these wires down here on the part that goes to the dash for the gas fuel, and I can cover them or do whatever I'm going to with it, and that'll be it. I have my back pad ready to put in. I made a paper template, and it's cut in here but not over here. It's for right here. There's something there, and then I test fit it. But what I want to show on this is I come up with a way. This is self-adhesive backing where you peel it off, stick it on. Anything like a label maker or anything like that, I'll show you the best way I have found to put anything on, like, you know, a sticker, decals, or anything. What I do is, instead of peeling it off at the corner, because you're going to touch it and then it always has that, it doesn't want to stick. Here's what I do is take this, pick it up right in the middle, raise it up. Then I take my scissors and I cut this backing protective off right in the back. Then there, I lay it back down. Now I can position it, I can take it up and down, I can get it, you know, look at it, make sure it's what I want, especially with like a label or something like that. And then I rub this down real hard. I look, if it's a little bit off, I could lift it, move it back, whatever I want to do with it. Now you simply just reach under here, peel this off, but just as it goes, then you're pressing it down, and it works every time. And I want to push this down real good. And sometimes when I'd have a decal, or not a decal, but a something made with a label maker, I want it real straight, I'd put blue tape across, line it up at the bottom, but just have that middle so it'll stick. And then once you take the rest of this off, And see, I don't peel clear off. I go a little bit at a time just so I can rub this in there, work it and work it. Then I can always pull it over and take a little more. And you'll see how much better that is. Because if you have the whole thing, you try to stick it down in, it'll stick here. This isn't clear down, you got to lift it up. But I have done that with stuff for years. That's the way I do it. I get it on straight. I get it on one time. I don't have to try to pull it back up. I can really line it up. And this stuff here, it's amazing how it looked like it was going to wrinkle. And you just push real hard and work it out. And there it is. That went right around there and formed. No wrinkles at all. I mean, it's a little bit right here, but I mean, it's going to be up under the tank. It ain't going to hurt. But I want to get it the best I can. They have these ridges here. I was going to cut alongside, and I said, no, just leave it like that. It ain't going to hurt. And I get my thumb in there and push it down and work it. And after I leave it set, it might come up a little bit because of this. I'll just rub it again. And then all of a sudden, it just hangs in there. It's good enough. And they're finished results. I put one pull tie down here and put that liquid electrical tape on here real good. I'll let that go till tomorrow and maybe put another coat. And then I'm going to take that pull tie off. I don't need it there because this will be holding it together. All the padding is in. Looks great. That'll protect it. And come out really good.